Everyone, how's it going? Welcome to part 3 of this collab, even though it's the second week. It is the part 3 banner, at least, which is what we're going to be covering today. So, let's hope we don't have any problems with the internet randomly for no reason, because that sucks, and I don't like that whatsoever. But yeah, our plans for today, like normal, we're going to be looking at the new unit and the arc in this current update, and just any kind of updates in this update, I should say. But honestly, I don't think there's going to be that many things I need to talk about today compared to the last week, because last week had like a lot of stuff I need to talk about. But I feel like it's not necessary to really look at the news this time, because I don't really need to, really. Like, there's not too much that they've added in this update. I can just tell you that what they've added is obviously the new banner, and they've updated the event, and not too much else, I believe. So let's start this off today with having a look at the part 3 banners. So part 3 is the final banner in this collab, and we've got 2 weeks, so we've still got 2 weeks to decide if you want to pull for whoever you want. So Knuckles is the final unit in this collab, and he looks pretty good, honestly. And some people have already built him somehow. They just built him really fast and already using him in arena, and it's funny because he does seem pretty good for PvP, and I'll definitely talk about that at some point. Let's have a look at the unit first. I do think the arc's going to be nice too. I did have a brief look at everything. So Knuckles is a fire unit, and we like fire units. Like, fire in it is in a very good place right now for PvP, because Guile is Earth, and he's like the main unit that everyone uses pretty much everywhere. So fire units, especially like Claude, is very good at the moment, and even Shift Magus is very good. So Knuckles being fire does help a lot, and he does seem like he can be decently tanky as well. So he could be a solution to Guile potentially, but we're really going to have to see and wait and see until he's fully built and we've had more testing with him. But so far with my, I've seen a little bit testing, only a little bit, and so far he does seem like he's going to be very strong. So he is a beast type, of course. All of these units in this collab are beast types, which is cool because we rarely get beast types unit in this game, so I do like that. His stats do look pretty nice, honestly, because high HP, high strength, defense, pretty good stats, and I believe he should be pretty tanky too, so these are pretty good stats to see. Attribute resistances look pretty good. 35 to Earth, very important one there, because he's mostly going to be properly used against Guiles, I would think. So I think it's pretty nice. Minus 22 Ice could be a problem, but honestly it's not that big of a deal. I think it's fine. Emerald resistances look good, because nil to Illness, very nice. If you want him to be a tank, then Illness is very important. So the fact that he's got nil to Illness already, very nice. Resistance to stun, resistance to curse as well, very nice. You're probably going to need to increase that to nil, potentially, depending on what content you're going in, but I still think they're pretty good element resistances. So I'm hopeful that he could potentially replace Claude, at least for like PvP. That's what I'm originally thinking, and I don't know yet, but if he turns out to be better than Claude, or at least, very close or strong enough to replace him, then I think he would be worth getting, and probably getting high SC cost. I would consider getting God Relic Prisms for him. I don't know yet though. So his abilities, I do like his abilities, honestly, they look pretty good to me. He's a single wield damage dealer, that's kind of his main role. He can also tank a bit as well. So skill 1, charge and deal a frontal medium area via combo attack. So first of all of his 3 skills have, well, his skill 1 and 3 have a charge, and his skill 2 has a close the gap. So that is nice because it does give some range to the unit, and having, close range skills where you have to go super close to use them, I'm not a huge fan of those. So having at least some range where you can charge the enemy, I do like those skills. So skill 1 looks pretty nice, it's 10 hits, pretty solid, and 10 hits is pretty good for a skill 1. that's quite good hit counts for a skill 1, I think. Skill 2, close the gap, wide area fire combo attack, looks pretty nice. I think it says it's a stomp, so I think he like goes up in the air and then punches the ground or something. Looks pretty nice. It's 13 hits, so it looks like it could be pretty good. Not really much to say about it. Skill 3 honestly just reminds me of Murren. Skill 3, like, it's quite similar, because it's a drill, you know, it looks very similar to me. So when I saw this skill, I was like, oh, it's Murren. Kind of. Charge and deal a frontal medium area fire combo attack that pushes enemies. Yeah, this will definitely be very good. Skill 3 is 22 hits, so for sure this is probably going to be the main skill you're going to be using on him, is skill 3, because pushing enemies, and it's a drill, it's pretty fast, it's got high hit count, so you're probably going to be using it most of the time. I think it's a nice skill. And then his special, powerful fire attack to one enemy. I don't really care about single target specials really. I like the AoE specials a lot more, but his special is 62 hits. I guess that's alright, it's good hit counts, but I don't see myself using it very much just because it's a single target special, and as you know, there are a lot of bosses in this game, at least endgame content, that have so much HP, like we're reaching 150 million HP bosses, and a special usually doesn't knock off much HP from the boss, you know, so whatever really. Definitely his skills 1, 2 and 3 look pretty good. I haven't done any testing with him myself yet, so I can't say what's his best skill to use, but so far they all look pretty solid, and I do like his skill 3 the most, I think. He just reminds me of Murren in a few ways, his skill 3 being one of them, and the fact that he's somewhat tanky, can be a tank. Pretty similar to Murren, even though it doesn't look anywhere close to Murren. So traits, gets a lot more interesting, the traits. So, trait 1, I like this trait. Battle start, give the unit a ring buff. So, the other 2 units in this collab doesn't have that. I believe they can't get a ring buff at the start of battle, and I was hoping one of these units would have something like this, and now they do, so of course they would leave it to the last unit. They sometimes do that. I mean, it's happened a couple of times. Having a ring buff instantly allows you to benefit from obviously any type of buffs that this guy has with ring buffs, but also the surviving a lethal attack. You can instantly do that at the start of battle, which is quite useful, I think. When revived, chance to give unit a ring buff. I don't like that it's a chance, I wish it was guaranteed to give 1 ring buff or something, but I'm at least hoping the chance is like at least 50%, because if it's lower than 50%, it's just going to kind of not be reliable whatsoever and not going to be that great, so let's just hope that it's a decent chance for that. Ring buff active boosts physical attack damage and cut physical attack / counter damage taken. Maximum of 100% damage and minus 60% damage taken. This is great, but you've also got to remember that you've got to have ring buffs, and obviously you can have a maximum of 5. So once you have 5 ring buffs, then you're going to have all of these effects, which is amazing, but you've got to think about how effective is this going to be for PvP content. Not as effective as you may think, just because, yes, you're going to start with rank 1 of those ring buffs, which is great, but I don't know how much 1 ring buff is going to give you for damage and take less damage. And then you've got to continuously use skills to get ring buffs and keep them, you know, so, and they last 20 seconds. So in PvP you kind of really need to keep using skills, so I think you'll be fine in Arena. If he's surviving and using a lot of skills, I think he's going to do a lot more damage and be pretty tanky, but in guild battles it's a bit of a different story, because as you know, you don't start with SCT once you go into the next round, so he's probably going to lose those ring buffs when you go into another round, and he's definitely going to lose a lot going into later rounds, but I still think it could be pretty good there, honestly, but we're just kind of wait and see. That's kind of what it is, waiting and seeing, but this is definitely a lot, especially if you can get him to spam a lot of skills. then he's going to be doing a lot of damage and taking a lot less damage from like, physical attacks and counters. So this does have some potential, I think, could be pretty good. It is a pretty nice trait though. I think it's pretty nice. Boost damage and take less damage, it's great. Trait 2, I do like this trait 2 as well, it's great. I like this, I like both these traits, honestly. When equipped with one weapon, so he can only equip one weapon, which is fine because in PvP content, you're going to be using single wield anyway because single wield is just best in PvP, like that's just how it is. Especially with like Claude, you could use him dual wield or single wield, but obviously you're much better off doing single wield in pretty much every scenario because single wield pretty much all the time makes the unit more tanky, and that is quite important in PvP content, so always do single wield with this unit. Skill damage 30%, damage cap 50,000 is quite a lot, but I don't really care too much about his DPS or damage cap really because I'm mostly thinking of him as a PvP unit. Yes, he could be decent in PvE as well, for sure, he can work there, but he isn't going to be the best there, and obviously Sonic is going to be the best in PvE probably. Knuckles is just going to be a more PvP focused unit, I think. Here's one important thing that I really like. When using a skill, gives a shield buff, durability of 1250, and it is lost after 3 seconds. So the reason why this is incredibly strong, if you don't already know, which you should know, Spirit Maiden, Thoria and Renna have this shield buff whenever they heal, and that is why they are so incredibly strong, because the shield buff, even though it isn't a high capacity shield, it's only 1250, so it's gonna get lost very quickly. It doesn't matter because with this unit he can keep refreshing it as long as he's using skills, which is amazing. But as well as that, the fact that the durability shields nullifies resistance to flinch, amazing. So I think this is going to come in handy quite a lot. This is going to be great. I love this. Yeah, it's going great so far. Hopefully we don't lose internet today because I would hate for that to happen. That suck. But yeah, he seems like a very interesting unit so far. When taking long-range physical attacks, chance to nullify damage taken. I'm wondering what the chance is. I don't know, but I think it's useful a bit. But I definitely think the main thing about this trait too is definitely the durability shields. Don't underestimate it because it's incredibly strong, and we don't have many ways to get a durability shield. And the reason why it's so strong because it resistance to flinch. That's the main reason. So great. Love having a durability shield, and also if you keep spamming skills, it's gonna keep refreshing. So I just like the idea of that, the fact that you can keep spamming skills non-stop and keep getting the shield back just sounds very good to me. So he doesn't have any, you know, super armor, but he does have this shield which kind of makes up for it in my opinion. But obviously if he's taking a lot of damage, then yes, he's still going to get flinched a lot, but it should be fine in most cases. I like the shield a lot. So let's go over to these skills next, because these are always great. This is an interesting kit, honestly, very interesting skills. So he is kind of a hybrid tank slash damage dealer. That's what they're trying to build him as, and that kind of role in PvP is just very strong at the moment. Like, as you know, Claude, great unit because he can be tanky and also do damage, so we like seeing those units. Attack at max, resolve at max, great. Heroism up 3, so he's definitely going to have a lot of strength. And defense, as you know, is great, and HP is going to be good too. Cool. Now, he's got some guard skills, which is interesting. I didn't think it would. Vigilance, guard chance, slightly increased, heal guard, guard charge. I do like guard skills, especially for guild battles. Guard bash, when guard activates, chance to deal damage to nearby enemies and make most enemies flinch. This one's pretty good, because it's not a learnable skill yet. One thing that is a bit strange to me, if you haven't already noticed, is the fact that he doesn't have guard. So, it's a bit weird. Very weird. So we can't actually guard yet, unless you put on guard. It's just weird. Auto Grand Brave, Auto Grand Fort. Love seeing Grand skills because they are a lot more expensive if you want to teach them. Yeah, he might have guard down at the bottom, but he doesn't have up here, so if it's there, then it should be there. Yeah, makes sense. Sure. I doubt that would stack with guard, because it's probably going to be the same effect, it's not going to matter, but whatever. I'll read it once I get to it. Auto haste, love it. He doesn't have, one thing that I don't like, it's not a big deal though, is the fact that he doesn't have auto protection or high protection of any kind. It's not even in his paid equipments, so it's kind of a bad thing, but you can put it on, so it's not that big of a deal, honestly. Patience 2, great. Fire Giga Drive, like it because, again, it's not a learnable skill, so love it. Drive Breakthrough is just more damage cap. Fire Attack Raise 3 is very nice. Fire Enhance. So he does have a lot of skills which you normally can't learn, like Fire Giga Drive and Attack Raise 3 you can't learn because they're not teachable skills yet, which allows you to put on everything else. So you can put on Fire Drive and High Drive, and if Mega Drive if we have it, I don't remember, and also Fire Attack Raise 1 and 2. Just keep stacking that damage modifiers, it's going to be great. Pose of Glory, sure. Spirit Breath, love all these skills, these are all great PvP skills. I always put these on PvP units for sure. Fair and Square, I like this skill, it's just the fact that it's expensive when you put it on a unit, so I would never use this on a unit normally just because it's too expensive, but the fact that he has this in his kit is very nice. It's basically just always 20% more damage as long as the enemy doesn't have a stats element, which is pretty good. Piercing, I do like Piercing, it's decent, it's a nice skill for PvP. I haven't been putting it on units just because 7SC for this skill is a bit expensive, so again, it's very nice to have this in his kit, honestly, very good. Fighter's Mindset 2 just gives more stats. You definitely want to have a Claw on this unit because he does have some Claw boost skills, which we're almost at. Claw Strength 100%, Closed Defense on mine 50%. Again, it's not going to add too much, but it's some nice stats. Favored Sword. I still don't know why it's called Favored Sword and not Favored Weapon, because you don't have to use a sword. I still think that this should be the case. So, Two-Handed Claw Boost 2, 20% more damage and 6,000 damage cap is great. And Boost 4 is 30% damage, 12,000 damage cap. So 100% you must have a Claw, because if you don't, then you're losing out on 50% damage. So definitely have a Claw, you have like no reason to use something else, which does limit the weapons that you can use on him, because he's going to be single wield, you can only use a Claw, there aren't too many Claw options, but we'll talk about that later once we go over recommended equipment, but there is definitely one very strong Claw that you can use, for sure. Claw boost as well, 10% more damage, great. HP plus 3 isn't a learnable skill, so more HP is great, nice, like it a lot. Dog eat dogs, nice. More damage does apply in PvP, so it's great. Ring charge and ring recovery are the skills we've seen on the other Sonic Collab units, so don't need to go over those again. But also remember that he does start with a ring buff from his trait 1, so that's very nice. Because when you have at least one ring buff and you take lethal damage, then it uses all of the buffs to survive on 1 HP and restore HP. So at the start of battle, he'll already be able to do this, which is great. I think it's great. So now we get on to unique skills, which I like all the time. These are always my favourite skills to see. So Knuckle Guard, here it is. Chance to auto guard, sure, and guard break is less likely to occur. You know, it's a unique skill, right? And there's a chance that it might stack with like Grand Guard, which does the same effect of guard break is less likely to occur, but Honestly, I never used that skill really, so it's fine. Chance to auto guard. I still don't know if this will stack with guard skill as well. I would assume not, because it's either you guard or you don't. But the reason why I'm saying it is, what if the two skills are separate? You can have both equipped at the same time, so what if they have separate chances? So this guard skill has a chance to guard randomly, whatever the chance is, and then the normal guard has a chance to guard randomly, whatever that chance is, not the same chance. But I don't know at the moment, but I would assume it's probably not going to stack whatsoever. It probably doesn't matter, but it's going to be for testing, I guess, because that's not something I'm going to know at this point. Wall Crush, I like this skill. You'll see why. This is very strong. He can destroy the wall. It's funny. When physically attacking, chance to break enemy guard. Love it. That's great. Always great for PvP. Damage 100% and damage cap 20,000 to stone type enemies. So he's going to be able to destroy stone type enemies. Now you may be thinking, well, there's no stone type units that we have in this game, so it doesn't matter for PvP. Well, yes and no. Fact is, I know we don't have stone type units, but we do have the stone wall skill, which gives stone type, and I've been using that on like Guile and 2P, and people aren't going to be doing that anymore because giving stone type is something you don't want anymore, because 100% damage is a ridiculous amount. So I highly recommend to remove stone wall if you have been using it, just because of Knuckles existing with this skill. Completely, you know, kind of prevents you from using stone wall or whatever it's called. It was a great skill that I liked using, especially on Guile because you had high defense, but don't use it anymore. 100% damages is crazy. Against bosses, there could be a couple bosses that are stone types. I know there are a few, so that could be good there. And you know what I'm thinking? What if there is a stone type boss in the next time trial that's coming up very soon? It wouldn't surprise me, honestly. It's probably like a very high defense stone boss, and they want you to use Knuckles, probably. That wouldn't surprise me. They're probably going to do something like that. Treasure Hunter. Great. Continuous speed effect, sure, I like that. When defeating an enemy, chance to get an item. One time per enemy, special damage 6%, damage cap 30,000. So this is great. Chance to get an item when defeating an enemy allows him to be a farming unit if you really want to, but again, I don't care too much about farming units just because we have units like Roy and V, even though they're not farming units because they don't have skills like this which have a chance to drop items. We have arcs and equipment that has a chance to drop items, so you can make non-farming units a farming unit. Units like Roy that have very wide area skills, you know, stuff like that. So I still think it's nice to have, and again it reminds me of Murren, but it's not the biggest thing in the world. The continuous speed effect is nice, like that. You could use him for a farming unit if you want to, sure, up to you, but he's not going to be the best farming unit for sure. Now the last one here, physical damage 20%, damage cap 8,000 to closest enemy. Cool, I like that. When close enough to the enemy, then you take 30% less physical damage. Great, I do like this, but he is kind of vulnerable to long range attacks potentially, but he does have the trait that has a chance to nullify long range physical attacks, so it's fine. I do like this. You take less damage, and you do more damage. Those are two things that I love for any unit. It's basically the two things you must have. So sick enhanced skills, they look very nice too. They look great. I like these. Skill damage 15%. Awesome, I love it. Take 20% less physical damage, also great. Like that a lot. Claw Mastery, 10% more damage. Sure, why not? And 10,000 damage count because he's single wielded. Great too. Close Mastery, take less damage. Perfect for him because he is quite tanky. Dog Eat Dog is 20% more damage in PvP all the time. Perfect, love it. Skill challenge 3, love it, amazing for PvP again, amazing skill in general, and then guard enhance, love this too, boost guard, damage, cut, bit confusing but okay, and then guard break is less likely to occur, okay, the reason why I'm stopping there is because that is the same effect of this skill, which means they do stack. Funny, cool, I like that. Boost guard, damage, cut, I would assume means when you're guarding, you take less damage. So, this basically like a skill that it doesn't have here, but you can teach it. So, it's great. Honestly, all of these Sixth Enhanced skills are so good that I would highly recommend to get every single skill. And I don't usually say that because usually they have something like give special damage and damage cap, which I usually avoid. But he doesn't have that, so I would highly recommend to get every single one of these Sixth Enhanced skills because they're all very strong and they do benefit him in PvP. And overall, in general, this just seems like a very strong kit because he has a very strong mix of damage and damage mitigation. So this kit is pretty perfect to me. I like this, and he can be very strong because, as you know, all of these skills down here, like these Sixth Enhanced skills and his unique skills, are all unique and can be stacked. And the fact that he's also got like the skills that he can't teach is great because it allows you to stack even more damage modifiers on this unit and even more damage mitigation skills on this unit. So I think he's gonna be a very strong unit for sure. I can see him being quite top tier in PvP. I don't know if he's going to change up the meta at all, but so far it seems like a maybe. He's probably better than Shift Megas, if I have to say. Shift Megas I've been using in Arena, he's pretty strong against Guile. He's pretty great. But he isn't tanky whatsoever unless he's using a skill. But with Knuckles, he just seems like a very good hybrid tank slash damage dealer. So I am quite excited for this unit, and I definitely feel like he's worth getting only if you care about PvP or if you just like Knuckles in general. But if you don't care about PvP, then you don't really need him that much, pretty much. So I think he's great. In my opinion, I would definitely get him for sure, but that's just because I always do PvP in this game. But if you don't care about PvP, then it's up to you. But PvP is a big part of this game at this point, so he's probably going to be an important unit, I think. Especially if you get him to plus 30, he's probably going to be one of the strongest, probably the strongest unit in the game to deal with Guiles. But the reason why I'm saying but is the fact he doesn't have a whole lot of counter damage mitigation, but it doesn't matter as much because he's a beast type and he's a fire type unit with 35 earth resistance, so that makes him tanky alone, and you can put on like counter shield, which I would highly recommend, especially if you're going up against a Guile. Counter shield would be amazing. So I think he's definitely going to be very good, 100%. He's going to be a great PvP unit. I know I definitely want him on my account because he's definitely worth having for sure. He's going to be quite fun, and I assume a lot of people are probably going to use him in PvP, so... Yeah, well, I personally haven't heard anyone talk about him yet, so I avoid most, like, social media stuff just because I don't really look too much into that. I'm in the Last Cloudia Discord, but I just don't really read it too much because there's a lot of gibberish going on. You know, I don't really read the main chat most of the time. I don't really read Reddit. I don't really read Facebook or anything. Yeah, I don't. I just make my own assumptions and mostly stay within my guild discussions. This is what I do most of all. But yeah, he is going to be great. I think some people just joke around and they say this unit is bad just because they don't want you to pull him because they know he's going to be incredibly broken in PvP. That has happened before. It's a bit rude, but I get it. People joke around saying this unit is terrible because they're actually incredibly strong and broken. Anyways, let's have a look at the arc. I can't say too much about Knuckles, how he's going to do any more testing with him, but it does look very good. This arc looks great too, for sure. Yeah, Guiles, most people don't have that. The traits, looks okay. Fire physical damage 20% at max HP, fire physical damage 20%. So, this is good, but when are you ever going to be a max HP in PvP? I mean, yeah, sometimes, but usually not. Especially if you're up against a Guile, you're probably not going to be a max HP, so this is probably going to be better in PvE content, and this is only for fire physical damage dealers, so it's very specific. When taking an attack, chance to gradually boost strength, okay. Maximum of 50% resets each wave. When you are equipped with only one weapon or no weapon, then it boosts damage cap based on how much HP is left. 35,000 at 50,000 HP. Well, it's an okay trait, but I probably wouldn't really use it just because we have other traits and arcs available. So, yes, the effects you get are pretty solid. You could use it if you know that you're going to be able to benefit from these. Yeah. Hey. Yeah, in this video, YouTube stuff. Right. Just gotta do something. I'll be back in a second. Right, no more distractions. This arc trait, pretty good. Just, my sister showed up. Terrible timing. Wish she had a key. So, learnable skills. Here's the most important thing about this arc. In my opinion, I like these learnable skills a lot. Learnable skills, very good, just because of one skill. One skill that I want to focus on this arc is Deep Impact. This skill I think is going to be amazing for PvP. I like this a lot, it's great. Because it's a unique skill, yeah. Gives physical damage, yeah. So battle start, give unit a cut movement speed debuff, great. Continues until incapacitation, okay. That's kind of a bad thing about it. When unit has a cut movement speed debuff, then you get 20% physical attack damage. Yeah, this is great. This is great. Vertical loop, I'll talk about it in a moment, but it's not a great. Deep Impact, definitely, yeah, this will be amazing in PvP for sure. I love this skill. I would definitely use it on like Claude and probably Knuckles and any kind of hybrid tank, or even long range damage dealers are going to love this skill just because they don't get hit that often. So even in guild battles, this will be an amazing skill in guild battles. So, and this is 6 SC for 20% physical damage, I think it's worth using for sure. So, yeah, definitely a very strong skill, and pretty much just sells me on this arc in my opinion. I love this skill. Great skill. Hey. Going great so far. Hopefully. 5 weak point breakthrough could be useful. More damage cap. Vertical loop, so I think personally 7 SC is too expensive. When you have a boost movement speed buff, then you get 10% strength and defense. It's too expensive. 7 SC for just 10% strength and defense is just not, is terrible. I wouldn't use it for 7 SC. If it was like 5, yeah, I would potentially use it, but because it's 7, I would say no, just because, think about this for a moment. Would you rather have 10% strength and defense for 7 SC, or spend 1 less SC and get 20% physical damage? I know what I would much rather have. 20% physical damage. Like, 10% strength and defense isn't really going to help you at all. I mean, potentially you could put it on like a very tanky Guile or something, but, or 2p, but stats just not the great. Yeah, like 3 SC each separate, yeah. It's not great, it's terrible skill. Flame Armor 2, continuous Flame Warp 2 effect unit, again, too expensive, so honestly, I don't really care about any of these skills. The only skill I care about is Deep Impact. That's the main value of this arc. But it doesn't stop there. But wait, there's more. This accessory, amazing too. Reason being, skill damage 10%. Love that. 10% skill damage all the time. Love it. And damage to airborne enemies 10%. You know what, that is amazing too, because it's damage. So all damage means you can put it on a mage and benefit from the 10% if you want. Yeah, this is an amazing accessory. This is one of the better accessories, arguably, that we have, because having an accessory which can give 20% damage is just so good. So I would love to have this accessory. Amazing accessory for sure. So it's funny that it's a spring. Just a spring gives you a lot of damage for a spring, sure. So overall, this arc in general, definitely the main selling point of this arc is definitely Deep Impact and the arcade reward for sure. Apart from that, there isn't that much else I'm excited about, but the fact that it has Deep Impact and a good arcade reward, I definitely think it's worth having, and the fact that it's also a collab limited arc, I would definitely want to get this for sure, because it's definitely worth having for sure. But if you were to compare this to the Part 2 limited arc, which one would be better? I would still think the Part 2 limited arc is better. If you were to choose between one of them, I would still choose the Part 2 one, which I still don't have yet, but I'll get it at some point. Yeah, it's just crazy. Crazy trait, Twister attack, very valuable. So I would still recommend the Part 2 arc over Part 3, but Part 3 is definitely comes very close to it. So yeah, I think this banner, very strong banner, because Knuckles is going to be a very strong PvP unit. And the arc, very good if you care about PvP as well, so this is a very good PvP banner if you care about PvP whatsoever. And Part 2 is still the best banner in this collab by a mile, best banner in this collab. But none of these banners are bad. That's the good thing about this collab, is every single banner in this collab is good banner. And that's what I like about this collab, is the fact that you can't go wrong really. Well, you could, depending on what content you care about, but I think if you care about PvP, then probably do Part 2 and Part 3, and you probably don't need to care about Part 1 too much, but if you care about PvE content, then Part 2 and Part 1 is probably more important. That's what I think. But yeah, definitely try and get Tails and his arc, but if you remember, if you get one thing from the banner, then you're probably better off summoning on another banner just in case you get a dupe, if you were to get a dupe on the original banner. So yeah, I like this Part 3 banner. I think it's definitely worth pulling on. I'm going to be doing some summons in a little bit, but before we do that, let's go and have a look at the trading space, because I want to have a look at his paid equipments, which they do look very strong too. So Collab Credential 3, let's have a look at his claw first of all. I'm not super excited about this, I'm more excited about his accessory. So, decent stats I guess. When equipped with one weapon, obviously he's going to be all the time, then you get 5 physical and special damage 30%. very nice. 15% strength is good too, and then when you're physically attacking, there's a chance enemy defense minus 30% deal damage. So yes, it's a good one. It's a good weapon, but I don't think it's necessary whatsoever. If it was up to me, I don't think I would need this, just because there's a different Fire Claw that gives 40% skill damage that I would rather use, and I don't think it's worth using the paid crystals just to get this. Yeah, the weapon's good for damage, but honestly don't need it if you have the alternative Fire Claw that's godforge. But this accessory, I definitely want to get this. I know I'm definitely going to be getting this for sure. It's got good strength for an accessory, definitely good. Traits, I love this trait. When equipped with one weapon, which obviously is going to be all the time, then you get 10% skill damage. Like seeing that. Physical and magic attack damage taken minus 15%, very nice too, and critical damage taken minus 15%. So in general, this is just an amazing accessory, and I would definitely recommend using this if you get it. Even gives 10 dark resistance, resistance to blind, whatever reason. But yeah, this accessory, very strong accessory. I would highly recommend to get the accessory over the claw, just because we have the godforge Fire Claw, which so you don't really need this that much. And if you do have that, even if you don't have it, you're going to be aiming towards getting it in the future anyways, so I would definitely recommend to get the claw, the accessory, instead of the claw. Yeah, blind resistance for shoes doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Like, I'm not gonna question it whatsoever. You know what would be funny? If it if there's a blindfold that gives blind resistance, I think that would be hilarious. If if there was an accessory like that, that would be very funny. But yeah, I I'm definitely going to be getting this accessory just because this is great. Also, this critical damage taken minus 15% will apply to all critical damage. So, as you know, 2P and Guile, they can crit on their counter attack, so this does kind of help a little bit against counters. But it's still a great accessory. I would definitely recommend getting that one if you can. But again, free-to-play players, you don't need it that badly, but if you were to get one, definitely get the accessory. But it's not going to completely change, you know, make him a million times better, but it will make him a little bit better. So if you want him to reach his maximum potential, you could get that for PvP. So that's everything so far, I think. Collab medals, I'm still saving my medals for now, just because I really need these arcs. Like, I want all of these arcs, but I can't get every single arc. Like, I really need to rely on luck to get these arcs, because I would love one of these arcs and Knuckles. That's kind of a bit selfish, I know, but I want to at least get two of them. Green Hill Zone and Believe in Myself are the two arcs that I must have. So I guess we should do summons next, because I need to do that, and then we'll showcase more on Knuckles, I think. So, if you've been doing the event, you should know that we've been able to get a bunch of tickets from the event so far. I've used all my tickets apart from the Part 3 tickets. At the moment I've only got 10, but I believe we should be able to get a 10 pool ticket for Part 3 at some point, because if you check my posts, there is a 10 pool for Part 1 and Part 2 in the event in chests, so there should be one for Part 3 as well. Because of that, I'm not going to, you know, go super hard on this banner to get both of them. If I get one of them, then I'll probably stop after that, because there's still a chance I can get something from the temple ticket later on, and even daily pools, so definitely try and be smart with this collab. Let's start off with these 10 tickets. I doubt we're going to get anything from this, because we haven't gotten anything from the tickets in this collab so far. And then I'm going to be doing Step Gacha, getting enough credentials for his paid accessory, and then trying to at least pull the units or the arc or something, hopefully get something new. Lilibet's not very good, but a gold, I don't know. Yeah, I really need to get Knuckles, because I would like to start building him and using him as soon as possible. But if we don't get him, then, I don't know. I will eventually get him. Can we get something new from this, please? We haven't gotten anything from tickets. Probably a dupe, though. It's only one. Oh, it's the Arc. Actually good. That's great. Now, I don't have to worry about pitying this. So, that's great. I love that. I like that Arc a lot. So, I love that. Now I can benefit from Deep Impact and this Arc Ether Ward. Definitely a very good Arc, for sure. Love that Arc. Finally something I got from tickets. Great. Love that. Now, we still need to get Knuckles. Now, I know I said that if we get one thing, I'm probably going to stop afterwards. Well, that's not actually what I meant. I didn't mean that. I meant I'm still going to be getting his paid accessory. I hope I can get him now, because if we can get him, if we can get Knuckles, like, in this pool, then I'll be done, and then I won't have to do any more summons. But I doubt there's a red in here. Well, there is a red. Can you be, please be the unit? It's not gonna. If only. If only it would have been that easy, but it wasn't. I wish we were done there, but whatever. Let's hopefully get Knuckles. I would really like to get him to start building him soon. Even though we do get a temple ticket later, I'm still gonna get him guaranteed, but I don't know when. Please get Knuckles. I think what I'm probably gonna do is I'm gonna have to skip the part 1 arc. Probably. The part 2 arc I still don't have, but I will get at some point. No reds in this one unless there's a surprise one, which probably not, because there's only 3 in there. Yeah, but 2 reds so far, already better than the last stream last week. That was not the best, but yeah, I do these live streams at pretty much this time, every time a new unit releases, just because these are pretty fun to me, and a lot of people find this useful, which I think's nice. Another gold. Please, Knuckles. We really need Knuckles. I would very much like Knuckles. Yeah, I haven't been doing, like, full-on PvP guides, but I have been doing, focusing on guides for units, which I'm completely fine with. No reds in this one either. I wish there were animations. Because PvP, you know, it's competitive, so I don't usually talk about too much, but talking about builds and stuff and units, completely fine. Yeah, well, I don't think any of these are really a must pull compared to Lilahar and, you know, that type of unit. But Tails definitely probably the best unit in this collab, but they're all very strong. You can't really go wrong with either of them or any of them. Yeah, there's probably nothing in this pool. I'm gonna watch it anyways, but I don't think there's any red in this temple, which is sad. Tails Arc, probably the best thing in this collab. Oh, there's a red. Can you be Knuckles, please? Then we'll be done. No. Maybe, please. Please. Yes.
Don't worry, I got this. No one can beat me when
I'm
it comes to
I get
power.
worried because I believe there's still an SSR arc I don't have. And if I get that one SSR arc that I don't have, I'm gonna be really mad. So, that's great. Perfect. Good timing too. So, yeah, Tweaks does more endgame content, honestly. He does do like a few guides, but they're more aimed towards, you know, endgame stuff. But I'm probably more, even even though I'm an endgame player, I still try and help people out when I can, just because I like doing that. Let's check the training space really quick. because I still want to get his paid accessory, and then we're going to stop there because there's no reason to call anymore. So, that's great. Yeah. I need 4 single pulls. We'll do that, and then we'll go over the Steam version, and then I believe I don't need to do any more summons for the rest of this collab. Just a couple of singles to get enough credentials, medals for the part 2 arc, and then I'm done, I think. So let's do 4 single pulls, and then we'll be done for today, and then we can start having a look at Knuckles, testing them out. That'll be fun. Yeah, honestly, this game is kind of difficult to get into if you're completely new, just because of the fact that PvP, you know, there's a lot of old arcs and a couple units that you can't get right now because of collabs. You know, it's kind of a... I don't know why I can't count, but I think that was 3. I can't count. I can't do 2 things at the same time, I swear to you. I can't count, and I can't talk at the same time. Yeah, getting 2P and Guile is, like, the most important thing for PvP at the moment. But that is if you care about guild battles, because guild battles completely different story compared to arena. I don't talk about guild battles too much in like any videos or anything, just because it's competitive and I don't want to spoil like the meta of guild battles, and it's always changing. So it's not that I don't want to, it's the fact that it would ruin the experience for everyone if I did talk about it. And it's supposed to, the information on guild battles is supposed to be kept inside your guild. Yeah. How many medals do I have now? I don't know, let's check. I have had terrible luck in the past, it just kind of happens with these games. Just have to deal with it and, you know, move on, try and be smart. Sometimes I'm not. Let's get these shoes. Love these shoes. I'm not going to be getting this. I don't need it. How many do we have? Perfect. So, I'm going to be smart, I think. I'm thinking. We may potentially get some more tickets. Because of that, I think it's smart for me to not get one of these yet. Like, I could get one of these too, but what happens if I get dupes? So I'm not going to trade for them yet. I'm going to wait for now. There's a good amount of crystals. Let me switch over to the Steam version now. So, it's very difficult to kind of say, you should pull for this, you should do this, you should do that. At the end of the day, it's up to you, but it depends what you have on your account, and it depends what you already have on this collab. But always remember, the smartest thing to do is to take your time, so don't waste crystals, because we do get more tickets. So for that reason, I don't recommend to pull on part 3 super hard yet, because there is a temple ticket we can get later on. We can get a temple ticket from the event later on, in a couple days or so. As long as we keep farming the events, then we should get another temple ticket. So, also, there is a login event. There is a login event which you can get 3 more tickets from for part 3, one in a week, I think, which is nice. It depends on if you have anything from this collab already, I think. But I do recommend to not go super hard at the moment, just because If you want to pull, I would recommend to do it towards the end of the collab, once you have used every single one of your tickets. If you have some paid crystals, then do the daily paid pulls for 100 paid crystals, because they are cheaper than, you know, 300 crystals obviously. So I'm definitely going to be building him about now. So let's do that. It's going to be fun. I've been farming this event a hell of a lot over the past week. Loot? Really? Like, what country do you have to be in to literally not allow you to spend in a gacha game? Like, that's strange to me. I mean, makes sense. Okay, that makes more sense, because I do remember this game used to not be available in my country either. Let's use a rainbow potion. Well, yeah, gacha games are kind of a bit controversial. I do understand that. Especially for kids, it's not something they should really be playing. But I can't say much about that. I mean, I honestly don't care. As long as you're not wasting your money, then do what you want. Yeah, I don't have any laws here. But the one thing I do remember is with Call of Duty, with the supply drops in Black Ops 3 was a big issue, and they haven't done something like that in ages because it's gambling. So they stopped doing that in more recent Call of Duty games. That's the only thing I really know of related to supply drops and stuff. Let's see. I'm gonna do equipment, I think. Yeah, it being gambling for kids does make sense. I think it should definitely be considered, especially for kids. Like, if you're under a certain age, then you probably shouldn't be allowed to play gambling games. But I don't know. I mean, I'm a bit different because I don't consider gachas to be that bad. The only reason I'm saying that is because I've played them for such a long time and I'm used to them at this point, but I don't really treat them as gacha games. I haven't really ever treated them as gambling simulators. I've treated them as games, you know, like just for fun. Let's have a look at equipment now. Because I think that'd be a good idea. I do get the premium pass for the paid crystals. I think it's worth it. So he's very limited on what he can use. He can only equip a claw, and he can only equip clothes, and he can only equip accessories. So he can only equip these three things. Well, you could put on armor equip if you want to put on an armor, but I don't think you should, because he has clothes, defense, and mind. He's got he does have, I think he does have clothes boost or something. Sixth enhance, clothes mastery. He has that, I believe. So you probably should have clothes. If not, you'll be naked. Great joke. So for claws, I would highly recommend this one. This one's the best in slot, apart from his paid claw. This is his second best in slot claw. Best claw to have on him by a mile. This one, if you don't include his paid, I would definitely recommend use this. And this is the one I will 100% be using, just because 40% fire skill damage is incredibly strong. This is an amazing claw, and I'm glad we can finally take advantage of this such a strong claw, because usually we haven't really been able to take advantage of this on many units, but now on a single wheeled claw unit this is perfect. So I would highly recommend to get this and get it Godforge if you don't already have it, because this is the strongest free-to-play weapon you can get on this unit. So definitely a very good investment for your account if you get this claw, especially if you get Knuckles. But if you don't get Knuckles, then it isn't as big of a deal because not many units are going to use this. But for Knuckles, if you do get Knuckles, 100% your main goal should be trying to get this claw just because it's very strong. Yeah, Guile is such a strong unit. He completely destroys certain units and teams if they are not built around it. Is pretty ridiculous. Other options for claws though, if you don't have it at the moment, then there is this one, but it is another Godforge claw, so if you have both, then definitely this one's better. But if you don't have any Godforge yet because you're completely new, then I believe there is a claw in the event, a fire claw. Let's go to the bottom, this one. You could use this one because it gives 10% fire physical damage. You can use this, it could be fine. It's alright. If you're just starting, then I guess you can deal with this for the moment. It's decent. Definitely worth using a claw. Honestly, there's not really anything else that's good. I think for claws, you're kind of limited on claw options. Basically only this one, or the paid claw, or the event claw. That's kind of the only 3 claws that I would recommend. And you can't use any other weapon because he has a bunch of boost skills that is aimed towards the claw, and you're going to lose out on a lot of damage if you don't use a claw. So yes, you could use any weapon, but claw boost 2, claw boost 4, losing out. So if picture it like this, you're going to lose out on 20% plus 30%, 50%, and then 10% plus 40%. So technically you're losing out on 100% damage if you don't use this setup, kinda, because claw boosts, yeah, there's a lot of damage. You don't want to miss out on it. But definitely use a claw. Even if you're using a terrible claw, it's still going to give you, you know, all this damage, 60% damage. So even if you're using a terrible claw, just put a claw on it. Doesn't matter what claw it is, you must have a claw. I think the event one's fine. So for armors, he can only equip claws at the moment. You could put on an armor to allow him to tank a bit more if you really want to, which I would consider, especially for guild battles. If you want him to be a main tank or something, then you could put on an armor like the Godforge armor that gives a lore +1 and take 20% less physical damage. Could be a good one to use if you want him to be a tank. But if you don't, then definitely this one's going to be probably the best one, because it's just perfect for him in general. Gives physical damage, you take less physical damage, and you boost movement speed. It's just perfect for him. But it is a Godforge clothes, so again, if you're completely new, then what other options are there available? Probably not as many. I mean, we do have a couple more options compared to what we used to have. Like, this one is from Street Fighter Collab, which is okay, but you have to be a soldier type, so I probably wouldn't recommend using it, but it's an option at least. If you're up against divinity enemies, then you could use that. This one, I do like this one. I believe this is free. It's pretty solid. Take less counter damage. You could use this in PvP, definitely use that. It's cool. I like that one. Anything else? Ideally you are looking for taking less damage and doing more physical damage are the main things you're looking for. I don't see too much else, honestly. Most of these are kind of terrible. Skill damage, that is, not many people are going to have it, so I shouldn't really mention that. This one is okay if you're doing PvE. That's not going to do anything in PvP. This one, I still got to level this up, but yeah, this one's great as well. If you've been doing the event to get this, then you could use this. It may even be a bit better. I definitely need to get it to plus 40. I'm working on it. I've just been focusing so hard on this event, so I haven't got around to it yet, but I'm almost there, at least. But yeah, this one will be definitely a good one. It does take a lot of time to get this, though. It even gives 5 earth resistance. It is pretty good. Definitely a good one. Yeah, there isn't really anything else, but yeah. I'm gonna go with this one for now. These two are free to play as long as, you know, you spend a lot of time getting them godforge, but they're very strong. Accessories, I know we have a couple of accessory options depending on where you're using him in. I'm mostly thinking of arena and guild battles at this point, but yeah. If you're using him in PvP, then look for something that takes less damage. Will be useful. But for PvE content, then just look for something that gives more damage, maybe movement speed, or something like that. This is great if you want him to be able to tank more. Even gives, you know what's funny? It even gives 10 more earth resistance, so guess what? He's now going to be at 50 earth resistance. Wow, love that. It's just funny. Bravery raiments, clothes, barkeep rewards. I believe it is, yeah. And then you can godforge it. I know there's some good ones down here somewhere. Machine, no. This one's good if you have it. 10 more earth resistance, like I didn't need it already. Now you can reach like 60 earth resistance. Sure, what a joke that is. You can probably go even higher than that too. He's definitely going to be tanky. There's no way that he's not going to be able to survive a Guile with 60 earth resistance. There's no way. I do love Black Diamond for PvP. It's one of my favourite accessories. And this is one of my favourite as well. For PvP, it's great. But for damage, there is this one. This one's great too. Fire damage. It's going to be all fire damage. Well, I don't really know how it works, but I would assume it's probably a modifier on top of everything. Because as you know, once the enemy has 100 resistance, you're basically dealing 1 damage. So it is probably like a damage modifier on top of all your damage. So I would assume how it works, how it calculates it is, it does all of your damage modifiers first, and then it takes into account their resistance. And then if they've got 60 resistance, for instance, then it probably reduces what your damage would be by 60% or something. I'm just guessing at this point, but that would make sense to me. This one's great. Love this one. A good accessory, especially if you're hitting a Guile and you have Soldier, Slayer. This one's going to be perfect. You're going to be doing a lot of damage against Guile, probably, I would assume. And then anything for skill damage is going to be great. And I think that's about it. This one's good. This one is from story boss stage, which not everyone's going to have yet. I'm still working on that video. I've still been making notes, but I've just been working hard on this event before that, so I haven't really done much on that at the moment. But yeah, this one's good. For the moment, I guess I'm just going to go for damage accessories for the showcase. But if I were to do a PvP build, I would probably go for one accessory which gives damage reduction, and then one accessory which gives damage, maybe. Or maybe one revive accessory too, in there somewhere. This will be fine. For now. More damage, more damage, more damage, more damage. This should be good, I think. All of these give a bunch of strength. You know what's good? This claw has 446 strength. And now look at the skill that gives 100% more strength. So this skill is going to be giving 446 strength now, because it's basically giving double this. So now his stats should be pretty high now, right? Yet already 3000 strength, 2000 defense, 10,000 HP, and he's not even awoken yet. I love these stats, and this is why single wield units are so strong, because they can reach stats like this. Having armors, all these stats. Let's awaken. Oh yeah, by the way, I've got 916 souls. How, do you ask? Well, I've been doing this event so much, a hell of a lot. I've been farming it non-stop. I've used like, maybe like 400, 500 orc recoveries. I wasn't counting, but it feels about that much. Yeah, this will be pretty great. He's not even built, and he's already got stats like this. Impressive to me. Don't worry, I've got this, no one can beat me when it comes to power. I'm sure that's true. I'm sure it is true. So, I'll be honest, I don't know anything about Knuckles. So, what animal is he? I don't know, because I don't play Sonic. I don't know anything about Knuckles. I do tickets just all in the temple. It doesn't really matter. I don't know that animal. When you are spending crystals, I can say for sure that doing single pulls is the way to go, because there's no benefit to doing temple with your crystals. In the hedgehog family, okay. Interesting. Probably gonna have to look that up. It's a weird looking hedgehog. Okay, with a long nose. I see now. Very spiky. Okay, fair enough. Sure. Look at the stats now, though, by the way. 3,600 strength, 2,500 defense, 12,000 HP, not even fully built, just with base skills alone, level 100, not even 6th enhanced either. There are going to be even more stats in the 6th enhanced, and once I get even more awakens, and if he turns out to be incredibly strong, I'm definitely going to be getting him to 8th awaken, because the stats, you can see, from 3,600 to 3,700 is a nice increase. I also need to remember his paid accessory. I can't forget that, that's quite good. There we go. Nice stats overall. So let's try him out now, because I haven't used him yet. Actually, there's some more souls there. Actually, I don't know why I can't pronounce that word. Probably because I've never said it in my whole life. Climbing walls. Dislikes sunshine. I can relate. Treasure hunting. Great. Okay. One more awaken for you. I'm not gonna bother trying. I don't wanna. If I were to say it, and nah. Good enough. Alright, let's try them out. I'm never gonna say that word in my entire life, so it's not like I need to learn that word in my English vocabulary. It's not important. Let's put him in by himself. There we go. And then use cancel 10. Try him out in the stage that we always do. I also need to level up that arc. Good point. I should do that. I'm gonna do that now. Green Hill Zone. Can't get this max level yet. I've been using my blue souls on the SSR arc. If I go down here, this one is now level 15 because this is one of the best arcs for PvP in the game at the moment. So it's pretty cracked. I like it a lot. It's crazy. Can't get many levels at the moment, but it doesn't matter too much. Let's do this, because I think this will be good. There we go, spring. I just got a spring. You know, this is just me, but when I hear the word spring, I think of a song that I heard at school. It was like, magnets and springs, push and pull things. It was a song at school. I don't know why I remember that. I shouldn't. Yeah, Magus' banner. Pretty crazy banner. The arc can be used on literally anyone, because the main reason why it's good is the SCT. That's the main reason why it's good. But also, if you're using a sword, then you can benefit from the damage. I did talk about it in one of my videos once, when I did a video on Shift Lagrimos and why the fact that this arc was so strong. I talked about this a lot in there. But yeah, take less damage, SCT, 35% damage when defeating enemy. As long as you have a sword, it's great. Yeah, Knuckles can steal an item. I don't think it's that important, honestly. Let's try him out now, because I haven't tried him yet. I haven't even used him in game, so I don't know how spammable his skills are yet. Should be nice. I love these stats. These stats are already pretty strong. He doesn't have any slayers, one thing to remember, but it's not that big of a deal because we've seen units be very strong without slayers. Sarah, for instance.
Piece of cake.
So base skill stocks. Base skill stocks would be 4, 3, 2. Okay. That tells me that he's probably going to be using his skill 1 most of the time in guild battles on auto. So that's something to think about. Let's have a look at stats in the level. Yeah, that's pretty good already. He's not even built whatsoever. He's just got base skills. Level 100. That's pretty good. Normal attack. Pretty basic. Skill 1. Okay. They're already dying. Well, that should be expected because they're quite weak, but he's not hitting damage cap yet. Skill 1. Not bad skill 1. Obviously need to do more testing with this. Let's do this again. I just want to mess around with his skills first of all in here, and then I want to go into the unit test play quest as well, and then try him with a full team. I can't try him in arena today because I have to build him fully. That would take a long time. So yeah, he does start with 1 ring buff. You can see it there. 1 ring. He's collected a ring. Wow. He's cheating, he's already got a ring. He hasn't even collected one. He just got in a level, he's got 1 already. I mean, he can still run though. Like, he's got his legs going pretty well. Skill 2. He goes pretty high. Skill 3 is Murren's skill 3. I like that. It's got a range to it. It's not bad. $22. Okay. Cool. Let me go in once more time, and then I'll go in the units test play quest, because I do prefer going in there. It's a lot better. Just trying to think. I do like his skills, honestly, so far. They look decently fast. Well, I would say... I don't know if he's going to push Guile, because he doesn't move. So, it's difficult to say. If Guile doesn't have any SCT, any skill 1 stocks, then yes, he would definitely push, but I don't know if he's going to push if Guile has skill stocks. Yeah, you know what's important is, yeah, that reason is since it is not a Slayer, it's going to stack. So if you're up against a stone boss, you can even have Stone Slayer on top. Skill 2 can be spammed, kind of, but there is still a gap between, you know, when the next skill hits, because he goes, it's like a plunging attack, basically, like equivalent to Genshin Impact plunging attacks. Jowl, that's all I can think of right now. Don't know why. Let's go in the unit test play quest. It wouldn't surprise me if it's a stone enemy. Well, I do have memories of there being stone type bosses that are incredibly tanky, but we don't see a hell of a lot of them. I've got 6 days left to do this, I should remember to do that. Unit test play quests. So this is base skills with Sixth Enhance, Close Mastery, all this stuff. Good. You know, apart from these cloves, the build is pretty good. Like, if these cloves were better, then this setup would be good. These cloves just need to be different cloves, like, these cloves aren't that great. But 2 accessories, very strong, they're great. Great, obviously paid weapon, good, too, with this arc. It's gonna be nice. So, I don't think you can see what souls this stage drops before going into the battle. You kind of need to remember what stage drops what soul. Okay, so as expected, this is a stone type enemy. Actually, I'm remembering there's a stage in the maze that has a bunch of these gold enemies in that was annoying when I remember I did that. That was annoying. I don't know if he would work well against that stage. He might. He probably will. So, yeah, you can see Wall Crush going off. So this does apply to his, you know, his normal attacks too. Let's test out his ranges first of all. So skill 1, uses it around there. Good damage cap. I do like this song, by the way. They're good numbers. Okay, that's skill 3. That's just skill 2. is, yeah, close the gap. Then skill 3. Okay, I don't like that he has to walk that far, but... Okay. It does have some, like, some range to it at least. It's not the worst thing in the world. Let's try this. Yeah, stones usually incredibly high defense. Wouldn't you get dizzy from doing that all the time? So he can technically spam his skill 3 decently, but there's still a little bit of a delay you can see. Skill 1 spam is still a tiny bit of delay. It's not going to compare against Sonic because Sonic is, I have to say this, but Sonic is probably the best DPS now. Hang on. Let me spam this for a moment, I just want to see something. Okay, it kept the combos. I was wondering why it didn't keep the combos last time. Okay, well... One thing I'm interested in is how these skills, you know, flow together. Like, can you combo into a different skill and, you know, do skills faster or something? Because there might be a synergy there. Sometimes that is hidden with the units, you kind of have to test them out. So, I don't really know what synergy I would think of. Maybe skill 2 and skill 3 spam or something. He lost all of his ring buffs because I've been talking for too long. Oh, great. Doesn't seem like the case. Well, that's not bad. 145,000 damage cap means he would have 125 against a non-stone enemy. For a single-wheeled unit, that's pretty solid. But again, it's not going to be the best DPS by any means. We've definitely got better DPS in the game right now, like Sonic's DPS, especially with his skill 1, incredibly crazy. Let me do a little bit more messing around. I want to see if there's any combos or anything with his skills, and then go for a full team, and then just see how that does. And I guess there isn't much else to do today, because today is definitely going to be a shorter one, for sure. There isn't as much to cover today, but it's fine. So I was originally thinking doing a skill 2 into another skill, but it doesn't seem like that works. Like, I'm hoping that it kind of cuts the delay down and like reduces the delay between the next skill. I mean, it's hard to tell. I do like the skill 2, it seems pretty fast. That seems like a combo. He can sometimes lose his combo if you don't use your skill 2 fast enough, I think. Let's just kill him now. Yeah, DPS isn't the best, but it's still solid. He lost the combo, but I don't know why he lost the combo. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm not super impressed with his DPS. In PvE, he's not going to be that amazing. but he's definitely still a decent DPS. Just don't expect too much from it. Like, always going to refer back to Sonic, because Sonic, super fast DPS. Sonic even better than 2P's DPS now, I believe. If you care about the upcoming time trial, I am going to guess that Sonic is probably going to be a major part in the time trial. If I were to guess, that's probably going to be the case. Let's leave that there for the moment. I want to put in a full team just to try it out. So far though, seems good. With base 6th enhanced skills, the damage cap's pretty solid, but it was against a stone type. Yeah, he's not going to be that great in PvE, but PvP, I'm a bit worried about PvP. I sometimes say that with units, but he's gonna be interesting. Definitely a bruiser type unit. I have been building these units. My Tails is built now already. I've been using him in Arena as a healer, if you believe it or not. He's actually pretty good. I like him a lot. But today's not about him. Let's go over Knuckles. I just want to have a full team. Who is the Pyro Kine? Well, here's the thing. When 2P and Guile released, they were too broken because the game wasn't ready. That's just as simple as that. The game wasn't ready for their release because they introduced a new damage type which every unit in the game didn't have any resistance to. So they had to make up for it and try and release counters to those two units, which they have been doing. And I believe Knuckles is another solution to Guile, and a lot of people, especially with guild battles, have been complaining about Guile because a round 1 Guile is still incredibly strong against guilds that don't have every tool available on their account. And if they don't have a super cracked Claude or something, then they're kind of screwed and they can't kill a R1 Guile. So Knuckles is definitely a solution to it. I hope so, but I can't say for sure because I haven't tested it yet. But they are definitely trying to make up their mistake of releasing Guile and 2P, just because their damage with counters being a damage type that every unit in the game couldn't resist whatsoever. But now, definitely the game is in a better spot than it used to be. The meta shifted not as much with Lilahar, arguably, but Lilahar is definitely a top meta unit for sure. I just think when 2P and Guile released, it was a different story because they were just broken on a different level because it was something completely new, and it's not like a broken mage like Lilahar. I still think Guile and 2P were more like stupid broken units. Let's try this out. Yeah, counter was terrible because it was just like no reason to use it because you couldn't do damage. It was just no reason to use it. But once they released 2P, it changed everything. So my plan here, obviously Honey Elixir, use the art skills, and I'm gonna use skill 3 and see if it's enough. Damage cap isn't going to be a hell of a lot, but I at least want to hope that he hits good damage here and maybe kills them all in one skill 3. Yeah, it does. I don't know if that was damage cap or not, but that was actually pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah, I'm gonna do that again. You know what? It would make it. You know what would make it better? If only there was a unit in the game that could give an enemy a stone type if I'm wrong, I don't think we have it. There are 2 units that does something. I think you have beast type or something. I don't quite remember, but I don't think anyone in the game. Yeah, that's creature. I don't think anything can give a stone type. Is a beast? A beast isn't a stone type. There's the U, but I don't think it's stone type, right? I don't think it includes stone type. Pretty certain that it's not stone type. Beast, fish, bird, yeah, there you go, that's what I thought. Yeah, can't eat a stone. Actually, a funny story. The Rock. There's been a recommended videos on me on YouTube for some reason about The Rock eating rocks. It's quite hilarious. It's funny. I don't know why it made me think of that, but The Rock eating rocks AI videos, go look it up, it's quite funny. Can't eat a stone? Well, The Rock says otherwise. Yeah, it is funny. I don't know why I saw it, but it was an AI generated video. It's weird, but if you don't know, AI has advanced so much in the past year or so. It's pretty funny and crazy at the same time. And we get stupid videos like The Rock eating rocks, Donald Trump playing Minecraft with Barack Obama and stuff like that. Don't ask me what I watch. Don't worry about it. Just it's funny. That's all that matters. 136,000, I think. You know, this is pretty strong considering he's not Sigma Haunch yet, and I don't have his paid claw and everything like that. It can be even stronger. It's pretty great. Yeah, the Trump and Biden and Obama and someone else, Hillary, playing Minecraft. That was hilarious. I loved that. That was very funny to me. I like stuff like that. Not for any particular reason, really. The only reason I like Trump is just because he's a meme. I don't care about anything else. 30 God Relic Prisms. Are you sure they're not Prism Shards? Because 30 God Relic Prisms is a hell of a lot. I've got 17 at the moment, almost 18 and a half basically. I would recommend saving for the moment and going for like... What I recommend is for God Relic Prisms, only use them for your favourite units and PvP units, because if you use them on PvE units, it isn't really... It doesn't really matter too much. It's kind of a waste. They're more important for PvP units. Yeah. But we can get +8 from the event by itself, so it does cost less. I'm not going to be spending any of those today. 250 medals, well, geez, it kind of depends on what you have already from this collab, and if you have paid crystals and so on. Whatever you do not pity him yet. Don't do it. The reason why I'm saying it is because we get another temple ticket in soon from the event. In a chest there's a temple ticket for part 3 at some point. Also there's going to be 3 more tickets in the login event in a week, and there might be a couple more tickets coming up soon, so don't pity anything yet. That's why I'm saving my current medals, because you could get one of these from tickets later on, or even daily pulls. So Sonic Tails and Sonic Arc, The thing that's difficult about this collab is the fact that everything in this collab is strong. Like, you can't go wrong with anything. Everything's good. Knuckles and his arc are very strong. Tails' arc, very strong. I think what everyone should be doing right now is don't pity anything. Whatever you do, even though if you might be tempted, don't use your medals, because like I said, we get tickets later. Also, if you care about, you know, this, then do this daily, because you can technically do like 14 more single pulls with paid crystals, and it's worth doing that. So don't pity anything yet, but if you were to pity something, 100% would be the part 2 arc. Probably. So I would probably talk about that in a conclusion when I'm gonna do that soon. Because I don't think I'm gonna be here for much longer. I think I've done everything I wanted to at the moment. I'm gonna quickly look at the event, and then I will. Oh, there's 2 more tickets. Wow, forgot about that. Go in the event right now. Go do it. If you haven't, go in the event. This event is amazing. I love this event. Do it. You get 2 tickets. Go in the event. I don't need anything from this banner anyway, but 3 tickets. What did I expect? Well, I'm sure there's someone out there watching this that gets Knuckles or the arc from those 2 tickets. I'm sure that's going to happen. Trust me, it definitely happens. Yeah, event map shop. I love this event. This is one of my favorite events because of the rewards. Oh look, a chest. Not the temple ticket I was hoping for, but okay. Yeah, they added stuff in this shop. I've already traded for everything. I love these books. I need books all the time because I don't farm purple books. I run out of purple books. Also, I kind of need more gold. I don't know why. 2,500 coins. I know they're rings, so I like calling them coins because I'm used to coins. Let me show you something. 600 of these tickets. I've been farming this non-stop. You can tell. Definitely be farming more later. Anyways, Training Space has great stuff in too. There is tickets in there which I've already gotten. I did that before the stream, and there's a prism which I already got. Just good stuff in general. Just make sure to log in every once in a while to do this event, because these stages, all of these stages, are going to be very good. Every time we complete one of these, like we completed this one just now, and it unlocked this chest. So that is what is important. Once we complete this one, it might give us another chest. It's going to unlock these 2 stages, I think. There might be another chest or something, but the chests are the ones you should be looking out for. Also the flying, supply, whatever you call it, things, they are good too, because of this. Need to get one more hover crate, but they aren't available yet. Remember, we've still got 2 weeks left of this event, so there's still time. You don't need to rush everything. I love this drill house, even though it takes ages. Getting these tickets, doing like these stages is great. I'm going to be doing that later though. So both Shift Balin and Advocate of God Melee are both outdated units. so it's hard to tell because they're not that great, nobody really uses them. Yeah, this is a amazing time to be playing the game and starting, because this event is amazing for new players. Also, if you haven't already noticed, you can re-roll in this collab to get everything, because you can get 10 pull tickets for the event for each of these banners. So part 1, part 2 and part 3 will eventually have a 10 pull ticket in the event, which you can re-roll for and try and get everything if you really care about that and you're starting right now. It's a good time. In my opinion, I think Sonic's arc is the least important thing, but it's still good. So I don't think there's really anything else that I wanted to talk about at the moment. Looked at the event and everything, I believe there isn't really anything else in the news. I might as well check. I think the only good thing about Sonic's arc is the Thunder Mega Drive skill, and that's about it. Yeah, there's like hardly anything in this update, there isn't really much. This update. Don't really talk about anything there. I still think it's good to have. Right, so now is a good time to talk about my conclusion for the moment. So I think, oh yeah, good godforges, I haven't looked at that. I should look that. What was it? I don't remember what godforges they were. There was I didn't look. Yeah, well, it's debatable, really. Machine. Well, I would say this would be a good weapon for the damage cap. 100%. The damage, though, I wouldn't use it. But this would be a great PvE weapon, you know, for the damage cap, for dual wield units. But it depends on the unit that you're using. You could use it on Sonic, but like I said, Mecha Cannon Veldis is better. Yeah, all damage. But like, when are you gonna use it on a mage? You won't. It's the thing. Yeah, you could use it on like 2p, like, but you wouldn't, though, is the thing. You wouldn't, because it's non-attribute. It needs to be thunder. So even though it's all damage, it just doesn't really matter that much, because it's a machine. I still need some of these, but I just don't feel like I need them. It's just whatever. I don't really care about that one. Yeah, one thunder. This one's just not... Why would you use this? Yeah, I take that back. You would use it on... you would use it on Amelia, and that's it. That's it. Amelia could use it, sure, if you want to do that, but that's like the only scenario that this could be used, maybe. But 142 intelligence for an accessory is pretty great. 9S, if you don't have his paid, then yeah, but if you do have his paid, then no. I guess. Yeah, honestly, not anything super excited. yeah, they're not that great. I don't really care too much about them, if I'm honest. I probably wouldn't really get them. The machine I would, because I think it's good, and that rhymes. But yeah, that's about it. So yeah, my conclusion for now, all of the banners have been released, part 1, part 2, part 3. I do have some suggestions on what you should be pulling on and what you should be focusing on. Part 2, 100% the most important banner in this collab is part 2, because Tails is going to be a great unit long term. His supportive buffs and everything, amazing. The fact that it applies to all attributes, well, attribute damage means that it is going to apply to magic and every type of damage as long as it's that attribute is amazing. And his debuff and everything, his healing potential, pretty strong. Also the arc, probably the best arc from this collab, so this is the best banner in this collab. So if you care about the best things in this collab, definitely get part 2 stuff. It's the best banner. Next banner, it's debatable, but I would argue that part 3, I prefer part 3 over part 1, just because part 3 has a very good unit who can be used in PvP, but also the arc is not as valuable. But Sonic is still an amazing unit. He's great, one of the best PvE DPS units in the game right now. Knuckles, I just think part 2 and part 3 have more valuable things in the banner because of the arcs compared to part 1. But if you have one thing from each banner, then it becomes more difficult. Or if you have, let's say you have one thing from part 3 but nothing from part 2, then definitely pull in part 2. But if you've already got the arc in part 2, it becomes difficult depending on the scenario you're in, really, because it's different for each player. But yeah, if you care about getting the most value for your crystals, if you get one of the on rate up things in the banner, then in most cases it's better off pulling on a banner that you don't have anything on yet. That is usually the case, because then you get more on your accounts instead of trying to get the one thing on that banner that you're missing. You know, that's just me though. That's what I think. If you care about your crystals, but definitely part 2, best banner. I would rate part 3 second best banner, and then part 1's the least important. Pity being shared is the best thing about this collab. That's what I love, because the fact is you can easily build up pity. If you have some paid crystals, then you can easily build up pity from doing these daily paid pulls, and that is what I think is amazing. And I love that they do this in this collab. It's amazing, and I hope they do it in future collabs, because it is the best thing about these collabs. It allows you to pity things and not worry too much about the medals. So yeah, it's great. I would say most players should try to aim for 200 medals. The reason why I'm saying that is 200 medals will guarantee you one of the limited arcs. Ideally, best case scenario, you would leave this collab with the part 2 arc and the part 3 arc. Those two arcs are definitely arcs that you should try and get, for sure. So hopefully you can get those within 200 summons if you have 200 summons available. Because 200 medals, I have 200 medals right now. Definitely save those medals for the moment, but don't waste them yet. Don't go super, quick. Take time. I'm saving these for now, but reason why I'm saying 200 medals is because if you have some paid crystals, I know I already said the daily pulls, but the step gacha, you can't forget the step gacha. The step gacha is amazing if you only spend a little bit, or even if you spend buy anything. If you're completely free to play, then it's a different story, but spending a little bit in this game is worth it in my opinion, just because of the value on the lap 1 is very good, and the value on this collab for the daily paid pulls getting the medals is also very high as well. But on lap 1 you get how many medals? I think you get 21 medals for 5, 6, 700 paid crystals. Yeah, you get 11 medals for 700 paid crystals, which is incredibly good. So I would highly recommend to do lap 1 on every single banner, only if you have paid crystals and you spend a little bit in this game. But if you don't have any paid crystals, then don't worry about it, and just ignore those like normal, and just go with your, free crystals and try to snipe some things from these banners and do single pulls only. If you are completely free to play, never do 10 pulls, ever. You literally have no benefit at all to do 10 pulls. You should only ever do single pulls, because if you do a 10 pull and you get the thing you wanted in, let's say, your first orb, that could have been a single pull, you could have saved 2,700 crystals. That's a big if, but it has happened in the past, so just be wary of that. I think that's everything I got to say about this collab. Honestly, I think this collab is definitely a very good collab. It's got a lot of good things in. Pretty much everything in this collab is good. Compared to previous collabs like Persona, I thought Persona didn't have much value in that collab, mostly because the units got outdated quite quickly. They weren't that great of units. The arcs, yes, there was Keen Eye, but apart from that, I don't think the arcs were that crazy either, so I considered Persona to be kind of a not that great collab. But Sonic collab, definitely one of the better ones. It's not the best because it doesn't have the top tier skills like Purple Orb and Honey Elixir and stuff like that, but everything available in this banner, in this collab, is something that, isn't bad, that you're going to be using at some point. So yeah, amazing collab in my opinion. Even if you get something you didn't want, it's still going to be something that's going to be good on your account. That's why I think this is great. We still have Magus' banner for another week. I do want to give my thoughts on this banner just to give people another week, just in case. Would I recommend putting on this? I still think, considering we have a collab going on right now, I don't think it's worth putting on this banner. But Shift Magus is a great unit. I got to say, he's pretty fun and he is pretty strong. I've been using him in Arena and he can work in guild battles too, but I haven't done enough testing in guild battles on him yet. But this banner is still good. Reason why I'm saying you shouldn't pull is because this SSR arc is a permanent arc, so you shouldn't pull on this arc just to get this, because you can get it anywhere. So, and this banner with Kaine, just completely ignore. It doesn't exist. It's terrible because it's an old banner. You just ignore it. And everything else, I don't think there's anything else important here, really. So yeah, just skip Magus' banner, probably the best thing to do, and then pull on part 2, try and get Tails and his arc if you can, and then if you get those two, try and focus on Knuckles' banner. But remember that there will be a 10 pull ticket in the event coming up soon in a chest once we do more of those stages, which is probably the next few days. And there will also be 3 more tickets in a login event in a week, and there may be a couple more tickets coming up. So pretty sure that's everything I want to cover today. I've been enjoying this collab a hell of a lot. I've been playing this game a lot more than usual just because I find this quite fun to me. The units, quite fun, and the event, amazing, because I really needed to build my account up a bit, honestly, because if I go to level up units, I need to level up a lot of these units to get to level 120. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a lot of units I need to get to level 120. So I'm spending the time to get these units to level 120 if I can in this event, because this event is the perfect time to do so. Yeah, amazing collab. I like this collab a lot. It's one of my favorite collabs because of the event, the units, everything in this collab is good. So I'm happy with what they've done with this collab. Definitely need to get more of these units level 120. I'm working on it. It just takes an incredible amount of XP to get a unit from level 110 to 120, but it is worth it. You get the God Relic Prism Shards, so I definitely recommend to do it long term. That's what I'm doing. I really want to get to level 59. I really want to do that. But yeah, I'm going to be focusing on Knuckles in the next 2 weeks. There isn't going to be any more banners in this collab, so this is the final one. And the next banner is probably going to be maybe a permanent unit or a DOH unit or something, but don't worry about it yet. Just focus on this collab. I believe there isn't really going to be anything coming up. I can't imagine there's going to be anything coming up that's going to be anything game-changing compared to this banner, this collab. So I wouldn't worry about it yet. Now I'm thinking about it, there's probably going to be a summer banner coming up soon, isn't there? Because it's getting quite hot here. I've had like 27 degrees or whatever Celsius. It's been quite hot here. When was the summer banner last? It was 10 months ago. So yeah, there should be a summer banner coming up in the next couple months. Not yet, but that will be coming up soon. So that'll be fun, but nothing to worry about yet. I don't think there's anything else I'm going to talk about. I'm going to be focusing on this event. I really need to build Knuckles as soon as possible because he could be a good tool in guild battles and arena. Yeah, I think August. I don't really know, but to me it seems like it should be sooner because summer's like now. That's what my brain thinks. Like, why don't they do it now because it's summer already? But they do leave it a bit late, so it is still going to be a couple months. I really hope they release a permanent unit soon because we haven't had one in it feels like a long time. At least ages. It feels ages. It could. My predictions for the next banner in 2 weeks is probably going to be a DOH unit or a permanent unit, one or two. It's definitely not going to be a collab because this is a collab, we just had a collab. So it's probably going to be DOH or a permanent unit. So, highly recommend to farm this event as much as possible before it goes away. We've got another 2 weeks to do as much as you can, get as much tickets as possible, and yeah, pretty fun collab. Don't want to repeat myself because I like doing that. I like saying myself at times I can't talk. Anyways, I'm going to be leaving out there for the moment. It's been about 2 hours, which was good. Didn't have any problems today, which was great. I'm going to be adding the timestamps a bit later, and I guess I'll see everyone in 2 weeks. I will try and do a video about how to unlock the most recent UR arc in the story, maybe in about a week or so. I plan to do it probably next week, before the next unit at least, because I do want to try and get some kind of video between now and the next unit releasing. So I will spend some time doing that, and I may do a video related to Knuckles once I have him fully built. It depends, but look out for some videos coming up soon, and the next unit in 2 weeks. But in the meantime, make sure to focus on the event, don't waste your crystals, and get those tickets first. Use those, it's important. And I'll see you in the next one. I'll have timestamps soon. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.